This is the dodo, a creature many once believed had vanished simply because it was too slow, too foolish to survive. But if one ever believed such a tale, perhaps it was because someone, somewhere, had spun a lie. The truth behind the dodo's extinction is not a simple story of incompetence. It is a tragedy crafted by millions of years of evolution, by isolation, and ultimately, by a disaster carried across oceans by humankind. This journey began 140 million years ago, when a fragment of the African continent broke away, carrying with it Madagascar and another piece of land that would one day hurtle northward and become India. Over millions of years, at the dizzying speed of 16 centimeters per year, India raced toward Asia, leaving behind a vast ocean. The remnants of this long farewell formed the Mascarene Plateau, a sunken range beneath the Indian Ocean. A few peaks rose above the waves, creating islands: Mauritius, Réunion, Rodrigues, and it was there that the dodo story began. At first, Mauritius was nothing but a barren, lonely rock. Then, ocean winds brought seeds, and currents carried tiny sparks of life. Slowly, the island dressed itself in a lush green cloak. But life was only half the story. No animals set foot here. To cross thousands of kilometers of open sea required a special gift: wings. And so the flyers arrived, the most resilient creatures on Earth. A distant cousin of pigeons, a group of birds accidentally made landfall on Mauritius. They found a paradise with no predators, no threats, and food in abundance. In the dense forests, heavy with fruit, they chose to stay, abandoning the sky forever. Across 4 million years of isolation, these small birds began to transform. No longer needing to flee, their wings shrank, their muscles grew. They swelled in size, from mere handfuls to hulking creatures nearly a meter tall, weighing over 15 kilograms. Their beaks, once delicate, became hardened hooks, perfect for tearing open the tough fruits of the forest. It was the law of the islands, the island gigantism phenomenon, where small creatures could grow immense and giants could shrink to dwarves. In a world without enemies, with no need to flee, the dodo lost the most vital instinct for survival: fear. In that isolated paradise, the dodo became the master of peaceful existence. No predators hunted them, no dangers lurked in the shadows. But then, in a single historic moment, everything changed. A sail appeared on the horizon. The first ships may have belonged to Arab sailors, followed by the Portuguese. Yet it was the Dutch who first set foot on Mauritius and decided to stay. They did not come alone. Along with them arrived dogs, cats, rats, and monkeys. And with them, an apocalypse the dodo had never imagined. For these invasive animals, the island was a feast without end. Across the dense forests, the dodos, creatures who had never learned fear, wandered clumsily, heavy-bodied, moving without caution. Their eggs lay exposed on the ground, basking under the golden sun, easy prey for the new predators. One wild dog, a swarm of hungry rats. It was enough to turn paradise into a nightmare. The dodo, untrained for the brutal dance of survival, was struck down without even understanding why. It didn't end there. The thick forests, the only shelter the dodos had ever known, began to vanish. The Dutch, recognizing the immense value of Mauritius hardwood, felled tree after tree, razing entire forests and stripping the land bare. As the forests fell, the dodos lost not just their homes, but their last chance to survive. In less than a century after humanity's arrival, the last dodo was gone. No grand battles, no desperate last stands, only a quiet fading from existence, as if they had never been there. The final day of the dodo may have been heartbreakingly peaceful. An empty forest, rotting tree stumps, and somewhere, a lone bird walking silently through a world that had already forgotten how to listen. Today, the dodo endures as a symbol of extinction. Not because it was foolish, not because it was weak, but because it was too perfectly adapted to a paradise that no longer exists. When that paradise fell, the dodo had nowhere left to go. And perhaps somewhere in another universe where humans never set foot. Herds of dodos still amble beneath towering trees, on an island untouched by pain. In the whispering winds across Mauritius' empty shores, some say you can still imagine the slow, gentle footsteps of a creature long gone. No cry, no trace, only a fading memory of beings that once ruled through innocence and a pure trust in life. The dodo did not fail because it was weak. It simply was never meant to face a world reshaped by human hands. And so, with every species that vanishes, the earth grows a little quieter, and a part of the human soul, a part that once knew wonder, trust, and innocence, is lost forever. Perhaps, somewhere in the roaring ocean breeze, the heavy, peaceful steps of the dodo still echo. An eternal reminder, when a world disappears, we do not just lose strange creatures. We lose a piece of ourselves,